It's a weird waveforms this week on my claps. It's very weird.
Mine are always straight up and down.
Okay, you freaking elitist clapping idiot. Hello and welcome to the Year We Start the Podcast. It's a podcast born Phoenix like from the ashes of last year's podcast. I am your co-host, Jeff, here with my perfect clapping wavelength co-host, Nick.
I just got called an elitist clapping idiot. It's the weirdest insult I've ever received.
Yeah, well, you know,
Nick, I'm Nick. Hi.
He's Nick. Oh man, if you ever need anybody to put up some really, really solid waveforms with their claps, he's your guy. I mean, Nick, man, we've talked about lots of ways that we can make this podcast grow.
Idiot.
But like, I think there's got to be a subreddit for that. Anyways, this is our podcast. We are a couple friends that are half a continent apart that would like to come together, clap really nicely, and talk about some things that are fun and interesting to us. Nick. Hi. Oh man, we really need to nail how we're going to do that because, like, I feel like I need to say Nick, and I need that to be filled with like a little bit of time for me.
Here's what it is. Okay, you'll be like Nick, and I'm gonna say yes, Jeff.
Jeff.
I'm gonna say it just like that, like in a normal human being way that I did, and then you're gonna go.
Well, I mean, you know, like we're good now. That was so good.
Thanks.
There is a non-zero chance that we've already talked about this. This is the thing that I've realized as we've done this podcast is I am very, very, very bad at remembering what on earth we've talked about and like as podcast co-hosts and what we've talked about as friends.
Fair.
Yeah, it's hard, or honestly talked about in general. But so Nick, what I want to know your thoughts. We live on different time zones by a couple hours, and this manifests itself in two different ways. I'm not sure if you've caught on, but I certainly have. One, it is that you will text me at like midnight, which is like barely 10 o'clock your time.
What?
And
what?
I will text you at 4 a.m. because I wake up at 6 and read my phone and then text you immediately without thinking. So I want to know what do you feel is acceptable texting etiquette across time zones?
Okay.
Because I'm a little self-conscious about this.
No, you're totally okay. My rule of thumb with this is that I don't text like when I think someone else could be sleeping, which is basically like from 10 to like 8. I try to leave them alone unless they have shown a proclivity for also texting me in those windows themselves. At which point I'm like, well, it must not bug them, or they don't. I don't think anyone sleeps with their sound on, waiting for an emergency call anymore, right?
Well, that's like I'm really glad to hear you say that. Because, boy, do I feel judged at the number of times you've texted me back at 4 a.m. your time when I text you at 6 o'clock in the morning. Which I'll say is basically, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure is 0.
Yeah, I do not.
But do I wake you up when I text you at 4 o'clock in the morning?
No,
Or are you a good boy? Turn your notifications off.
I know that was like a thing for like. Do people like have their phones on sound at night? Like that's.
Well,
I don't know.
It seems wild to me because like I actually have. I mean, and like I live a world in where I have the responsibility to wake up for work, but like I don't have all my notifications on. Like that would be terrible. Like I can be contacted at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you have to know the right way to do it. And no offense, but there's not very many people that know the right way to do that. I don't know. Like that seems crazy to me that you would just live life where you could be woken up by a text message at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
I agree. And also, like, you could get a notification from any nonsense app at 3 a.m. You know that could happen, right? Like, 100%. Yeah.
Like, for example, your email app when I publish a video. I mean, wow. What do we do when I publish a podcast at, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, don't let me wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning when I publish the podcast. Like that's no bueno. And likewise, Nick, do not let me wake you up with a text message.
But no, it totally is fine with me. I actually like I'm fine with it. And when I text you like that, I fully expect that the text will be responded to the next day.
At 4 a.m.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. 4 a.m. my time. That's when I want my text. Thanks.
I want to preface this next topic with the fact that it's been absolutely wild. So there is a tennis player who has been in the news cycle recently. I just want to, I don't actually want to talk about that. I don't know enough of the details to speak educated on the topic, but like, I just want to be clear. This has literally nothing to do with the tennis player at all. It is an absolutely wild coincidence that this is even a thing that I should even have to say, because I literally had never heard this word spoken before. So, Nick, my daughter, she's 2.5 here soon. Here in a couple of months, so it'll be 2.5. And she was starting to talk more and more. And one of my favorite things about having kids is the words that they use to describe things that you eventually catch on to what they're saying, but is so hilariously wrong. And my favorite one at this point for my daughter is Osecka.
Osecka?
What's
Osecka?
And she's very adamant about saying Osecka. And I want you to think. I want you to just relax and think about what do you think. I know I do this sometimes where it's like, oh, I have no idea. And yes, I understand that you have no idea what the actual answer is. I want you to take a guess at what Osecka is for our family.
Is it 1 second? Like, is it like? Yeah,
that's not bad. That's not bad. I will say it is a noun.
A noun. I got nothing. I mean, Nick, to be honest, I'm just like
between the two of us, you were the most likely. You were voted most likely in our high school yearbook to be, an English major, a writer of books and words and stuff. I feel like
it's so weird.
You can do this.
It's funny that your high school would vote between the two of us, considering how far apart we are. I didn't go to the same high school, but it's good. It's good. Yeah. I have no idea. I think the spelling would be Osecka, right?
Osecka.
Is that right?
That's my 2-year-old daughter. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, you asked me how do you spell it, Jeff. You can't ask me how to spell it like you and your wife haven't texted it or something. You're a jerk.
So no, I had an extra K, so I had Osecka.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's fair enough. Oh man, that makes me think. Like, dude, talking about doing college English and stuff like that, which I assume this is not a thing nowadays. It's probably hopefully never. What? But can you imagine a college level spelling class like that? It seems so bad.
Where you just have to spell obscure words that no one knows. And
it's my gosh!
My god!
There's so many words that like I can't even try. Like I know that there's no way that I know how to get that. Okay, seriously. I didn't put that in the show notes. That was literally my number one word that I was going to use. So what if I tell you some, would you like me to use it in a sentence?
Yeah, tell me it in a sentence.
So this is something that happened earlier tonight. So today, Alice was yelling, Osecka, pour sugar on me.
Alexa. I shouldn't say that so loudly.
No, you should not. Anybody out there that's listening on anything other than headphones, I apologize. But yes, that was her yelling, Alexa, Osecka, play sugar on me, which is, play.
Damn. Can I just say that your 2-year-old daughter has figured out AI? Like,
well, no, the hilarious thing is, like, it actually doesn't work yet, although she is pretty close, because my son did a kind of a similar thing where he would get close enough that it would actually trigger Alexa to say things. But what it is close enough is now that Katie and I understand what she is trying to say and translate it to Alexa.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like through proxy, cool. She's able to control Alexa, but just
no. This is actually better than being able to control AI. This is her being able to control 2 adults. She can two adults
absolutely. She's figured it out. She gets to listen to the music she wants to listen to.
Oh my gosh.
Nick, I want to listen. I think we need to go to one of your topics. I've talked about random dumb things long enough. What's one of yours today?
Okay. So, Jeff, have you ever seen turtles hatch?
I don't think so.
It is so cool. It is so cool.
I do know like they do they run off to the ocean after they do it?
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna send this to you, and I'm gonna talk while you watch it. Okay.
Okay. That's fair.
While you watch it, at least just like a couple seconds. You don't have to watch the whole damn thing or anything like that. Where is our channel? There it is. Okay. So I linked it at a good timestamp for it. Okay, you can even rewind it a little bit. Okay, so turtles, the way that turtles do their nests, are they lay like a clutch of eggs under sand on a beach, and it like a ton, like 50 to 200 per sea turtle. And these moms do this at several different places, right? Because like the odds of the turtles surviving is actually super low, which is kind of sad. But like
that's super depressing.
I know. I'm sorry. But let's go back to the fun part. So like literally 200 baby turtles all hatching at once on a beach, and then all running collectively. Like their brains are so freaking good. Something about evolution has worked so well with them that they will literally all start running towards the freaking like their first steps, their first moments of freaking air, and they start running together as a pack towards the ocean. These tiny little baby turtles, and seeing it in person is like the coolest thing in the world, and it's so adorable and also like terrifying.
Wait, have you seen it in person?
Yeah, I've seen it twice. It's so cool.
Oh, wait, how
so
recently?
Cool. A long time ago. I saw it both 2 times as a kid, basically.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Dude, this is so cool, right? Like I think it's just wildly interesting, and they hatch so many, and I don't know, Jeff. This is like the coolest thing in the world to me.
Oh man, the beginning of it is so disturbing.
I know. Don't watch the whole thing. It's whatever. Okay. Also, there's a couple other things about this that I think are insane. So, like, sea turtles nest at the same beach they were born at, and there's a theory on why they do this. That is that they can freaking feel the magnetic field of the Earth.
Yeah. Like a surprising number of things are able to figure things out because of the electric field. It's like, what in the world?
That's insane.
Magnetic field. I don't know. Things that we don't understand are how many animals are able to understand where they are at. Is absolutely wild.
Jeff, I can't even feel when my wife turns on the freaking air purifier or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're so much better animals than us.
Oh man.
They can like tell the intensity and the direction, or like the angle of the freaking magnetic pull, and they can like that's the theory at least, and they can just basically remember anywhere. So the same turtles will show up to the same beaches like consistently. And then the other thing that I think is really interesting and crazy is, so Jeff, what do you think would determine the gender of or sex of a turtle that is being hatched?
I would
wrong,
imagine.
Stupid, wrong, you're wrong. I don't even know what you were going to say. It doesn't matter. The answer is the temperature. The temperature determines.
Is that real?
Yeah, I have no idea why.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Yep.
What
determines the sex of sea turtle?
I don't want to lead Google. I want
the temperature of the nest determines a hatchling's gender. This is called temperature-dependent sex determination. Warmer temperatures produce mostly females, and cooler temperatures produce a majority of males. There is a pivotal temperature that produces an equal ratio of males and females. The temperature determining sex ratio differs between species and nest locations. This is at conserveturtles.org, Jeff. It is a reliable source. I checked. So get wrecked.
I'm reading this. This feels like the sort of thing that you would have on Turtle Facebook.
I agree. But Jeff, it's so cool. It's so cool.
Oh man, you're right. It is true. It seems to be like at fertilization temperature or something. I don't know. At least that's what my Turtle Facebook says.
What a ridiculous thing. Like what a ridiculously and super cool thing. That's all I got on this. I just think baby sea turtle hatchings are incredibly adorable. If you're a listener, please go Google this. You will be like, it just tiny little turtles with like, also I love how their flippers are like super, like, I don't even know how to put it. They're like, they move awkwardly when they're babies. They're like ratchet and stuff. And they have to like dig out of the sand to get out of like because the mothers like bury the nest, right? Bury the clutch of eggs. So, like, they just know to start digging up all at the same time and then all start running at the same time towards the water, which is just wild and cool.
It is very wild and very cool, and reminds me very much of something from my very young childhood. We joke about the fact that you're the young baby of the two of us.
Yes.
I do genuinely think this might be something that splits on our age difference. Do you know what electric football is? And two, have you ever seen electric football in person?
No, what's electric football?
So you don't even know?
No, what's electric football? What am I missing out on? I want to let you know, those two words, I've never thought of them together. This is a great combination of words.
Okay, hold on. I likewise will put this in the Discord chat. Here you go, sir.
Okay.
I honestly just randomly Googled electric football.
How to electric football.
Basically, imagine the need to have an RNG based football game before, like handheld electronic football games were a thing. Like electronic in the sense of a video game. This reminds me of like the same thing of like randomly just like headed toward a direction. I don't know why that triggered a thing that was similar in my mind, but like, yeah, this is maybe not the best example.
Okay, it's not, but I'm a big fan of this connection. Wait. Do you remember the football games or like the little handheld ones that just had like flashing lights for positions and players and stuff?
Flip, yes. You have no idea. Like at my grandparents' house, how much time I spent on that. That and the baseball one. There's a good baseball one too.
Oh, really? Okay, for sure. I don't remember that, but I trust you. My cousins had one of those, and I definitely played a lot of it, but like not very well. So, or not very.
This is like
when I was very young.
I didn't realize how well produced the thing that I sent you was. I mean, well produced being.
I'm not listening to it, but they're like telling us plays.
Very generous air quotes here. I feel like the more typical experience of playing electric football is much more akin to baby turtles running around randomly trying to find their way to water, in the same way that these little baby football electric players made their way to the end zone.
I'm sorry. This is like mean for me to laugh at. But can you? One, it's a very good connection. Two, can you scroll down to the comments? This comment is really sad and really funny. It just says,
oh my gosh!
Jeff sent me a thing that says electric football top 10 plays, and for our listeners, it says the top comment is someone saying, "I'm high AF watching this. It's so lonely here." I feel really bad.
And the next one, I'm 25 and I love football. I always wanted to try this out. How would I go about getting or finding a group? I'm from Oklahoma City. Great video, by the way.
How would you go about finding a group? You would not. You would not go about finding a group.
You're commenting on a video from 4 years ago with 5,000 views and 8 comments. That's not a very good engagement ratio. I'm sorry, buddy. It's very unlikely that you find your Oklahoma City electric football group. Oh my gosh. I feel bad.
I do too. I don't want to be a jerk to people on the internet because I like people on the internet. But
the next one is still better than Madden 19.
Look, that's out of my wheelhouse, but
a little bit mine too, but I agree.
This is so good. Jeff, can we just restart our podcast and make a new one about commenting on people's YouTube comments?
Oh, man. Yeah, that seems like a rich well, Nick.
It's a never-ending well, Jeff. We will literally not be able to keep up. It'll be great.
Oh, man. Oh, you know what, Nick? That feeds so daggum perfectly into my next topic, and I've now skipped one of ours. So, Nick, there's a lot of things that I watch on YouTube that would be very predictable of a person like myself.
Shocker.
Yeah, shocker. I like, educational things and just the things that are thought-provoking in general. I feel like it's probably not super surprising. I'm kind of weird like that. However, there are a couple things that I feel like are, I don't know, maybe on the fringe of what you would expect. Sure. But before I tell you my two that I feel like I love it very much that I don't think you would necessarily guess about me. I want to know, are there any are there YouTube channels or YouTube videos or honestly any sort of content of that variety that you would subscribe to that is outside of what I would suspect you would do as a friend of mine for the past decade and a half or whatever it's been?
So my two are not really ones that I would think are like that you'd be like shocked by, but they're not ones that are inside of my normal wheelhouse. I just think that they're so good that like I don't even care that they're kind of not hitting. Like I'm not the target demographic, and that's lessons from the screenplay. They're a channel by a bunch of screenplay writers who do film analysis stuff. And Jeff, I don't really watch movies. Like I watched like one movie during quarantine, but the freaking analysis is so good, and I really like writing. So like story writing, storytelling and stuff. So like it kind of is all similar stuff, and they talk about TV sometimes too. So there's some stuff, but I watch basically every video theirs because it's just super super freaking good. They
what I like about this, Nick? Like this is a proper good answer to my question because it's not like something that I'm going to click on like, oh man, every video has 15 million views. Like they're solid. Like they float around 50 to 100K or 200K or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this: their last 6 or something videos. I don't even know. Jen was making fun of me because like I'm subscribed. They don't have that. They don't produce content like on a weekly basis or anything like that. But their last like 6 videos or something, I haven't watched any of the movies in them. But I was like, Jen, this movie on Soul is so good. And she's like, you didn't see Soul. I'm like, man. I don't need to see Soul. It's not important.
You have it on trusted account that it is good.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's cool. I like that a lot. I'm looking. You're right. Like in the past 6 months, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos.
There you go.
And so, all right, you had a second one too.
Yeah. I mean, my second one, I guess, is a little more broader. But do you know Nerd Writer?
Nerd what?
Nerd Writer. Nerd Writer 1 is it's like similar in that they cover film, but they also cover like comics and art and a little bit of politics, like a very little bit of politics, but like just a huge like variety of content that I do not consume at all. But it's just like, oh yeah, tell me about this freaking 20 or 19th century impressionist painter. I want to know.
Is this dead? Like
no.
There's only 1, 2, 3 videos in the past
content.
6 months. Okay.
Very infrequent content.
Okay.
But fantastic content. Like I can't even tell you, Jeff, some of the most like well-made video essays style stuff that you can make.
Okay. Well, I've subscribed to both of them because neither one of them are going to spam my feed full. That's for sure.
No, you're in good hands. You're in good hands.
I'll start with the one that I feel like is more up your alley, which I probably have texted you a video of. Well, there's a non-zero chance, I should say. Who knows? Do you know who Summoning Salt is?
I do not. Who's Summoning Salt?
Okay, Summoning Salt is a YouTuber who is on the video game speedrunning scene. Like, has participated as a speedrunner himself on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but I would consider to be like the absolute premier source for telling the story of video game speedruns.
Interesting.
And I don't know what, like, I don't watch these sort of things on Twitch or anything like that. But to have somebody put in the time to compile all these things and put them into a story and explain exactly all the fine, like super, super complex details and like the difficulties of a particular thing that a particular person pulls off. Like, it is beyond interesting. And I feel like somebody who enjoys a good min-maxing of video game sort of stuff, I think you might enjoy that.
Jeff, I'm 10 years old again, and I'm watching him play Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, so if you could just give me a minute. 10 years old right now.
Because how many has he done in the past 6 months? It's got to be less than 5 or 6.
Let's see, 4. There you go.
Yeah. Whenever I see one pop up in my feed, it is literally like Christmas morning. Like,
that's awesome.
I know I'm going to have the best 45 minutes of my life.
That's another thing. I was going to say, this is like good because it's long form content too. So like, if you only get it like once every now and then, you can just like set aside some time like, oh, you know what? you know what? When my wife's doing that thing that she's got to do later, I'm gonna sit down and just love this up. It's perfect.
Yeah, but no, it really is perfect. It's like, oh man, it's like if you really really loved a movie franchise and they just randomly released a 45-minute to an hour long video or movies every like 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is. But yeah, most recently he released a video about hitting the human limit for Mario Super Brothers or whatever it is, and like talking about frame perfect execution of things and how that's been a competitive thing that nobody thought was possible and how close they are to hitting what is actually humanly possible. It's just like, it is just so wild, and like the sub culture thing behind it, like people that love speedrunning are so into speedrunning. And I don't know, like as a person who likes data and maximization and also video games and very well told stories, like it's so good. So that's one of them. And then
something that's always been really impressive to me is that like the amount of like, so I've played games where you have to know like a sequence of a lot of sequence of events or a lot of abilities that like bosses have or whatever the hell. And I always found that like relatively daunting in that it's just like a lot of content or like a lot of memorization of a lot of different like little minor minute details.
Nick, you have no idea.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like this is like that's what has always like super crazy intimidated and like made me like. How could you memorize an entire game every single place? This is literally frames?
This is like saying, I am very, very intimidated about NASCAR because I am scared to ride a tricycle. Like it is.
I was thinking more like, how could you memorize like, you know, a hour-long speech compared to a 3-minute song? But thanks for like belittling me there with the analogy.
No. Nick, it is so like I would love to think that either one of us would ever in the rest of our lives have the amount of free time and dedication to be able to perform at the level that these people do video games at. Like,
but it's not a thing.
It's not okay. Like, yeah, we're not going to.
I wasn't implying that I would do that so much as I was implying that like I don't understand how your brain can hold that much information in like perfect sequential order and like, do you know what I mean? Like it's just an insane amount of memorization.
Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculously impressive. But Nick, the next one that I feel like you will certainly not have heard of is Fuzzy Dice Projects.
No. What is Fuzzy Dice Project?
Okay.
I hope you don't mind that I'm searching these as you ask me.
You definitely should. Nick, what would you guess based on the cover or the, you know, all the pictures you see, all the thumbnails you see,
all
and stuff like that?
Say that? So there's the words engine rebuild in like 90% of these.
Okay, so here's what he does, and here's why it appeals so much to me. This guy he could shoot a movie. He is so good at camera angles and. Like he would like if you wanted to have like a documentary on how to rebuild an engine, literally he has to be in the top like 0.1% of talent that you could possibly recruit.
That's super cool.
He is. So I really enjoy the DIY sort of stuff, and you know, if you try to find how to do something on YouTube, you can certainly. There's a high likelihood that you'll figure out somebody who has done what you're trying to do before. If I were to ever like want to learn how to rebuild a 78 Firebird engine, to stumble across somebody like this who literally films every
minute detail and like at perfect angles. Because I've seen that. So when I've had to do like very basic DIY stuff, I often am like, dude, could you not record in something higher than 480p? And also, do you have to have the freaking video, like the content in the corner of the frame? And I feel bad because I'm being ungrateful for something that's like free education.
Okay,
but
dude, but like it is. Okay, I'm just gonna pick a random timestamp on one of his most recent videos I watched. Like, click that. I think it'll take you to the timestamp at 354. But he's talking about how to remove these piston heads or whatever the frick they are. Like, it is absolutely unreal, the angles and detail and his commentary, and he's funny too, and like it's just as a person who does kind of enjoy doing the DIY stuff, to see him do his thing, and like he kind of does things the sort of way that I would do them, which are technically not proper, but probably good enough. I like it is. I don't know. He's very entertaining. He is insanely knowledgeable mechanic, insanely gifted videographer. There's literally, I mean, I can think of maybe one or two other car type channels where they do this level of like good videography, but nobody who seems like as much of a genuinely good person. Like he constantly is like fixing his own friends' cars, things and stuff like that.
That's super cool.
And like he does it as a job originally doing mechanic stuff, but it seems like now it's like starting to transition to more like full-time YouTuber / friend car fixer guy. Which what a cool profession, like to be able to film yourself fixing friends' cars up. And
dude, this is super cool. I freaking love this. This is sick.
Yeah, and like if you just it is like therapeutic in the way, like I don't really understand ASMR all that much, but like this is probably the closest to ASMR that I will ever understand, of like just listening to a person explain how to rebuild an engine over the course of like, I don't know, probably I think at this point it's at episode 20. Like it is just, I don't know. It's so good. And like, it's so beautiful and interesting, and like he does such a good job. I don't know. This is a weird episode, but
no, it is. But I like don't care. It's fun. It's like I'm just watching, right? And just like even visually, it's satisfying. It's just like, oh, this is somebody who obviously takes a lot of care with what they're doing and also knows a lot about what they're doing, and it's just like that all its own is always like kind of worthwhile and awesome in its own way, right?
But yeah, those are my things. Random YouTube things.
I like all of them. I think it's cool. I think that's something that I want to do more of, and that's something that I liked about this whole format was I want to be outside of my own normal like wheelhouses more. I want to be like less consuming all of the same kind of content and less spending all my time thinking about the same things, and more diverse. And like it's okay if it's like a topic that I'm not gonna ever dive into. Like that's awesome. This is super cool.
Nick, last topic of the night, at least for the main show. Yes. I would like you to tell me about
Old Bones.
Old Bones? Question mark.
Old
Bones.
Old Bones is my joke descriptor or title of the topic.
Okay.
So, freaking this week. Was it this week? Let me double check the time frame now because it's been a few. I don't know. Very recently, there was a huge archaeological find in Northern California near where I used to live.
What?
Yeah, it's super cool. It's all stuff from about 10 million years ago, which is after dinosaur.
Old
after
Bones,
the dinosaurs.
California. Google search. Let's look in the last week. Anytime.
I can send you I can send you an article instead of you doing that. That's a weird Google search.
Found near Harry and Meghan's estate? What?
No, not that. I don't think so.
This?
I don't think so. It's not from the Harry and Meghan's estate. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think it's SoCal. I don't know.
I think it might be. I don't know. Okay. We digress. I digress. Go ahead, Nick.
So it's a huge find of like a ton of fossils all together, including some that are like very well intact and some that are really large mammals. And it's given a lot of like the scientific benefit of it is going to be that they're going to understand a little bit more about ancient climate change because of the time period of this. And it's like kind of a monumental find because we haven't had like giant finds of this scale frequently any longer. You know, we usually have found a lot of this stuff that's near the surface, but I was more like going crazy with all of the really cool and random animals that I didn't know about that have either like evolved on or gone extinct or whatever. Mostly evolved on, in that it's like a really one guy, one of the like the archaeologists like interviewed for this article said that it's an extremely rich site. They said other random stuff, but who cares? Let me tell you about some of these animals here, Jeff, because these are so cool. They have already made several exciting discoveries, including the bones of horses that may have had 3 toes and giant camels with giraffe-like necks that would have allowed them to eat out of 20-foot trees. Jeff, a camel that can reach to 20 feet up? That's the coolest thing.
That is just other giraffe. But circle back around. So horses, do they have 2 toes? Question mark.
I think so.
Oh man, we are the best.
Well, they really have gone backwards. These freaking poor degenerating horses losing a toe. But at this rate though, they've had it for 10 million years. Like, they've only lost 1 in 10 million years, so they're probably good for a little while.
It's better than many humans can say.
Exactly. One of the most common animals at the site seems to have been gomphotheres. I am probably butchering that. Elephant-like creatures with 4 tusks, 2 above and 2 below their mouths, described as being small enough to walk in through your front door. Jeff, that is the steed that I want in my life. I have always thought it'd be cool to ride a horse. Yes, hold on. I have pictures.
I need pictures because that sounds
Jeff.
Very cool.
This is what we need. Here you go. The Gomphothere. This is so cool.
I will say it's not as cool as I expected.
I know. It's still an elephant. It's still very similar to just an elephant, right? But dude, I want to ride a steed with freaking 4 tusks, 2 above and below the mouth. And also, it's like a perfect size. It could walk in through your front door. Scientists also found the remains of one fish that was as much as 4 feet long and the nearly intact skull of a mastodon complete with tusks. So the mastodon skull thing is really rare for them to find stuff that intact. I read a couple of articles for this, but ultimately I don't have that much to say about it. I guess I think that the different kinds of animals that we don't realize have kind of come and gone through the evolutionary line, and the fact that animal life has been here this is 10 million years ago, and these are elephants. You know what I mean? Elephants, humans have been around for or I don't even know how long humans have been around. I don't remember offhand, but not 10 million years. And I realized all I really wanted to talk about about it was, dude, Jeff, animals are crazy. The evolution of animals are crazy, and this this spine is gonna be really cool from an understanding of climate change in that time. And it's cool for me that it's kind of in my backyard. It was found they didn't. This article said that they didn't want to say where it was, and another article said that it was in this one range. And I was going to go to college there, and I was that close to me. You know what I mean? Down the road. There's so many crazy animals in the history of the world. The world's awesome. Evolution's crazy and amazing.
All right, Nick, well, we should probably call it good here. We are off to go record our NBA-specific these days Patreon-only podcast at patreon.com/TaiWasap.
You can follow us on TaiWasap on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
But what about Snapchat?
No, we don't do Snapchat. That's some other stuff.
Yeah, other stuff. We're not on Snapchat. Anyways, Nick, thank you for potting with me.
You're welcome. This has been the year we started the podcast. Thank you for listening.